Testing 1, 2. Remember that when people used to do that? Hello, probably should say first. Right, let's give it a few minutes to let some people jump on. Just making sure that we're live. We're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, and we're on YouTube. Perfect, cool. Going to give it a couple of minutes, like I say, to let it populate. And then we're going to be getting into this. We call it like a Christmas special, if you like. Christmas live. Going to be a good one, this one. So anyone watching on the replay, please give me a hashtag replay, just so I know how many people do watch on the replay. Thank you. And anyone jumping on the live, just let me know that you can hear me and you can see me okay. Leave me an emoji in the comments, and then we will get going. I'm going to give it about 30 seconds before we hit record on the podcast and we get into this live. Cool. Got a few people jumping on now. Right. Shall we get going and hit record? Straight into it here. 3, 2, 1. Yes, gang. Welcome to another episode of the Type 1 Movement podcast. And in this episode today, going to be like a fucking Christmas special, if you like. So I'm going to be giving you 3 tools that we have to help us manage our blood glucose levels over Christmas. These can actually be applied throughout the year, but more so they come into their own over Christmas. Before we get going, though, please leave me a rating and a review on the podcast app, as it really does help me reach more type 1 diabetics and positively impact our community. Also, whatever device or platform you're listening to it on, please give it a screenshot, share it on your stories, share it on Facebook, and give me a quick tag so I can reach out and say thank you. So before we get into it, absolutely crazy week for me last week. So we have been running a 5-day Christmas workshop challenge, which ended on Friday, started last Monday. At the time of recording this, it is like coming up to Christmas. It's like the 19th of December. This is why I'm running this, and this is why I run a challenge. So if you listen to this in the summer, then you'll be like, what the fuck is he on about? Look, it's Christmas time, the time we're doing this. So we decided to run this challenge to help some type 1s improve the levels over Christmas. What I'm going to be giving you here is a little bit that we did on the workshop. Excuse me. But more so to the point for this challenge, we actually raised, you ready for this? I'm absolutely fucking buzzing with this. We raised £650 for Diabetes UK. £650. They was absolutely buzzing as well when I told them. So I just, buzzing. I can't find a better word than that. It was a hectic week for myself and my team, but the guys on the challenge got so much value, which I really did want to. I always want to over-deliver. Like in these podcasts and stuff like that, I want to over-deliver. And we managed to do that on the challenge and also raise £650 for Diabetes UK. So I was absolutely buzzing with that. So more so to the point now, what I want to get into, and like I say, this is one of the kind of workshops that we did, because I think a lot of type 1 diabetics might kind of know some tools that we have, but they don't really know how and when to use them. So that's what I'm going to break down in here. I've picked 3 of probably the most valuable tools that are going to give you the biggest return on investment, so that are going to help you out the most with your blood sugar levels over Christmas. Yeah. So just to bear in mind that these tools aren't just something that you're going to try straight away and you're going to get right. Like, it does take time and work, like a lot of stuff with type 1. But without further ado, let's get into it. Make sure you grab yourself a pen and paper and take notes on this. You can always listen back to the episode and that, but do take some notes. So the first tool that we have, and I'll give you the tools and I'll give you kind of why we'd use them and when we'd use them in sort of a real life example. So the first tools that we have as type 1 diabetics to help us manage our blood sugar levels over Christmas is basal adjustments. So it's increasing or decreasing our basal rate. Probably in the time of Christmas, if you're like me and you're eating and you're drinking a fair amount, you're probably going to want to increase your basal rate. I know that I do. Now, a bit of a sideline to this. This would kind of only work if you're using a pump, because you can set your temp rates, or if you're using Levemir. If you're using pens and it's anything a longer acting insulin, like you've got your Tresiba, you've got your Lantus, that sort of stuff, it's probably not going to be beneficial for you to increase or decrease that. The reason being is it normally takes a day, 2, maybe 3 days for that to take effect. So unless you're planning ahead days out before Christmas, then it's probably not really like a livable sort of thing to do. So this is going to be for you guys who are using an insulin pump, who are using Levemir. So let me give you a real life example of why we might want to do this, and I'll use myself. I know on Christmas Day, I'm having my Christmas dinner, I'm fucking snacking, I'm having all the cake, all the chocolates. I know I'm going to want more basal, more background insulin in me to help deal with all this extra food. Yeah. So what I do actually do is I set a temporary increase in my basal insulin. Yeah, in my basal insulin. Now, when you're going to have to set this by how much, this is something that's personal that you're going to have to play around with. But this is what it's really going to help you stop chasing highs and try and minimize that. If you're eating quite a bit, you're snacking quite a bit, you're drinking on Christmas Day and kind of over the Christmas period. So this is probably the first biggest one, is looking at your basal adjustments if you need to increase it. I have not said this to the guys on the challenge, our clients. I've not met a type 1 yet that eats loads and ends up dropping low. So the decrease in basal insulin wouldn't be applicable in this scenario. Yeah. So the first tool that we have as type 1s to help us out over Christmas is bumping up that basal insulin, bumping up that basal rate. If you're on pump and if you're on Levemate, if you're on anything longer acting, Tresiba, Lantus, it's probably not something I could do. You could try it a few days out if you wanted to, but it's probably not something that I would do. So that's the first tool and kind of a real life example of how we use it. For me, I start from Christmas Eve, so I set a temporary increase in my basal rate from Christmas Eve. Yeah, that's the first tool, increase in basal rate or a basal adjustment. The second tool, this is a big one, is split or extended bolus, and it would be a split if you're on pens, so MDI if you're on injections. It would be an extended bolus if you're using the feature on your insulin pump, which you'll have. Now, let me tell you, this isn't just over Christmas Day, but it comes more into its own over Christmas. Why would use it? We use this for very big meals that are high in fat and high in protein. Yeah, because the digestive process, because of the high protein, the high fat, takes a long time. So if we're to not use this and bolus all of our insulin up front, we're probably going to get a low. Let me give you an example. Christmas dinner, really big fuck off Christmas dinner. I don't know anyone that doesn't eat a big dinner that's high fat, high protein, high carbs for Christmas. As I said to the guys on the challenge, I had a good laugh this week. I was like, if you're eating salad for your Christmas dinner, you got a fucking problem. No offense to anyone who's eating salad. Actually, I can't say that because it probably is offensive. But let's get into this. So my Christmas dinner, it's a big meal. I'm not going to really give all my insulin there and then up front. I'm going to give a little bit and I'm going to extend the rest. Usually for me, over 5 to 6 hours because it's quite a large meal and I'm having pudding after. Yeah. So this is when we'd use a split if you're on pens. So you give a certain amount up front and you would split the rest over the next few hours, or an extended bolus where you give a certain amount up front and you'd extend the rest over the next few hours. This is really, really going to help you deal with like the spikes that you may be getting 2, 3, 4 hours after you've eaten your Christmas dinner or after you're eating these large meals or even having picky bits. So the second tool is splitting your bolus if you're on pens or extending your bolus if you're on a pump. So we've got 2 tools so far. These can all be used in conjunction with one another. First one, basal adjustments if you need to increase it. And the second one is split or extended bolusing. Yeah, split or extended bolusing can be used all year round if you have a high fat, high protein meal. Yeah, we break down quite heavily with our clients how to do it. And we also broke down pretty heavily in the challenge as well. Some of the guys said, yeah, that was one of the main things that they got to understand a bit more. This is a very valuable tool to get, knowing when to adjust your basal insulin and knowing when to split or extend your bolus. So 2 tools there. Third and final tool, really fucking simple one, this, and it's walking. It's walking. And this is really going to help you stop those spikes after your meal. It's also a great tool if you ever forget to pre-bolus. So a little bit of a bonus tip there. So it could be, you might be one of those families that really enjoy going out on a Christmas Day walk and stuff like that. Cool. This is really going to help with your blood sugar levels. Just make sure you do take hypo treatments in case you're dropping low. But it's really going to help stop that after meal, that post-meal spike by increasing your insulin sensitivity. If you are not one who likes walking and you like chilling out and sitting on your ass and relaxing over Christmas, absolutely fine. Nothing fucking wrong with that. Just be aware that you may have to make up for that with extra food and extra insulin as well. So if you're increasing your basal, you might need to increase it a little bit more. You might need a bit more of a split or an extension. But if you're going on a walk, it's like a free tool, if you like, to really help with your blood sugar levels. Yeah. So there's a few more, but they are probably 3 of the tools that I personally use every year and that we focus on heavily with clients and that we mentioned on this challenge. So I'm going to do a quick recap on them again, guys. Tool number 1 that we have as type 1s to help us manage our blood sugar levels over Christmas. So the goal there is to stop those fucking roller coaster levels, big spikes, big drops. First one is basal adjustments. If you tend to run high over Christmas, might want to think about increasing that basal insulin. Second tool is a split or extended bolus for those high-fat meals, those picky bits, those desserts, trifles, tiramisu, fucking Christmas cake, whatever you're having. High in fat, aren't they? High carbs, high fat, some moderate protein. They're going to need a split or extended bolus. Wouldn't put all your insulin up front. I'd have a play around with that one. And the third and final tool is walking to help that insulin sensitivity and stop those post-meal spikes. Team, hope you got value from this. This is the last live and the last episode that I will be doing before Christmas because it's only a few days out. So I do want to say at the end of this, a big fucking thank you to every single one of you guys who've watched my lives, who's listened to the podcast, who supported me in some way, shape, or form throughout this year of 2022. I will continue to do my part in 2023 by delivering as much value as possible to you guys via these social media channels, via my podcast. But I do want to let you guys know how grateful I am for you guys listening to, watching, and supporting the content along this year. I hope you all have a fucking great Christmas. I hope you chill out, you spend time with your loved ones, and you're ready to go into 2023 and absolutely smash it. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for everything you've done this year, gang. Hope you have a fucking great Christmas. All the best to you and yours. Until the next episode in 2023, peace. Perfect. Right, I'm going to stay on for a couple of minutes just to see if anyone has any comments. I'm just going to have a quick look through to see if we've missed any. I don't think we have. Perfect. Right, gang, to all you guys, like I said on the podcast, I'm watching the live as well. This will be the last one before the new year. Thank you so much for all your support this year on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube, on the podcast. I really do appreciate it. And it is all the best to 2023. Hope you all have a fucking great Christmas. Until the next live in 2023, next year. Sounds a long way away, that, doesn't it? When you always say see you next year. Some people will say see you next year and it's New Year's Eve. You know, it's not even funny, being a dick. Anyway, see you all next year. It's not New Year's Eve. Peace.